I start out in that presentation saying, okay, is the answer 27 or is it 19? Or, am I right if I say the answer is 27? If I ask, who's the, Rick? Rick, is the answer 27? Am I correct?
Ask one more time. I was saying something to Annie.
Oh. If I tell you the answer is 27, am I correct?
Well, ask the question again, because I missed it. I was talking.
Bingo! Touchdown! You're a winner. You win. You win. See, you have to know what the question is before you know if the answer is correct.
Oh, okay. You were tricking me.
Right. So if you
right.
say if someone says it was thermite, it was nukes, it was this, what was it? You have to define the problem before you can solve it.
I was saying in the chat room when the show started, I said, I know exactly what she's saying, because when I was a kid, I used to play that game Clue. So to win the game, you have to be able to say, Colonel Mustard did it with the candelabra in the study. You have to have the crime scene, the weapon, and the person who did it, and
how they did it.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
Bingo. So if you say this is the answer, well, we don't know if it's right or wrong unless you know what the problem is. And actually, in teaching engineering classes, the very first rigorous engineering classes, students learn that very thing. It's run kind of like boot camp. And once you get into the habit of first defining the problem, listing what you've been given, the information you've been given, and then draw a line across the page, write what you're looking for, what answer you're looking for, draw another line across the page, and then start solving it and annotate it. Once you get into that habit, no matter how simple the problem is, it just solves itself. Otherwise, you're going around in circles trying to figure out how to get the answer.
Oh, I totally agree with you. In fact, one of my favorite documentaries that we play on the network, and he's going to be a guest, is from Trey Smith from a website called God in a Nutshell. And this guy will take something like his latest movie is about Noah's Ark. And he goes back, looks at the Bible, looks at the evidence, and points out stuff that literally proves Noah's Ark where it is, that it really happened about the time it happened, and that there was a flood. And, that doesn't necessarily prove God, but to me it does, because I already know there is a God from spiritual stuff, but it confirms it. In other words, he went about making a documentary about showing that there is biblical history in the Bible, and Noah's Ark is real, and took 3 hours to present the case, and at the end of it, your jaw drops. He's done the same thing with the Nephilim,
You talk about exactly. You talk about the game Clue, and I think that's great. We need to bring that kind of education back to people, because now they're taught to, as fast as you can, answer the standardized multiple choice test, and just if you can guess at the dots, to color in. It isn't a test of knowledge.
And the real
it isn't a test of problem
answer is none
solving.
of the above, because nothing is what it appears to be these days.
But also, in doing this, people lose the ability to solve problems. And in solving problems, you first have to define the problem before you can solve it. And they don't define the problem.
I think also, if I can make an analogy, we call the game in the UK Cluedo, not Clue. But what Dr. Wood essentially found out was that, the way that Cluedo works, or the Clue game works, is you have a pack of cards, one for the person and one for the room, and then you take out one from each of those categories and you put it in a secret envelope and put that in the center of the board so that no one knows what it is. And then you have to deduce, by going through all the other cards, which of those 3 are in the envelope. So it's a process of elimination that you have to, deduce which is the right card. But essentially what Dr. Wood had found was that the cards that were in that envelope came from a completely different pack, from a completely different box game, which you would never have been able to find out unless you'd actually been through all the evidence and ruled out all of the normal cards, which you knew wouldn't be in a normal set, and then you eventually worked out that the cards must have come from a different set.
It's like if you're playing...
That's what we're dealing with in this.
Yeah, if you're sitting at a table playing poker with people, and you're observant and you can remember, and you're saying to yourself, wait a second, how can they have 4 aces when I already saw 2 of them go down? Somebody's cheating.
Or the other
Somebody's
thing about
cheating, right?
That,
you know what I'm
magic
saying?
tricks. Or like magic tricks. It's this whole thing about getting the audience to assume the wrong problem. You can't lie to them because they'd catch up with you. So you get them to do the lying to themselves by assuming the wrong problem. And an example I've seen is, you cut the cards in half, and then say, all right, draw this card, and you hand it out to the person in the front row, and they pull the card off the deck. Okay, and then you turn around and you say, show it to the whole audience. Make sure I don't see it. Okay, now slip it back in the deck, someplace where you'll be sure I won't see it. Slip it back in, and then the magician then starts shuffling the cards and distracts people with how he's shuffling the cards, and then he goes, oh, here it is, looky here, and he pulls out, the ace of spades. But people were assuming it was because he got people to focus on where he stuck it back in the deck. No, he already knew what card the guy in the first row was going to draw. He already arranged that. But you get people to assume the problem is in how the card was stuck back in the deck. They forget to realize that card was already selected.
Right.
It was already identified.
I've trained myself as a magician since I was 12, right? So what she's saying here is a magician has an ability. He's got many methods of doing this, of giving.
Be careful though with that magic stuff, Matthew. It opens up portholes. Illusion is cool. Stay away from magic.
Yeah, okay, conjuring. I've been messing about with card tricks. I could blow your mind with a pack of cards. But what I mean is, if I wanted to give you the 3 of spades, but make it look like you had a free choice, so you can have any one of these 52 cards. Here, pick one. You've got 3 of spades. I don't need to know where you put that card in pack, because I can reveal that 3 of spades anywhere I want. I can reveal it inside my shoe, because I've got a duplicate 3 of spades sat there waiting for me. I could reveal it on top of a mountain 50 miles away. It don't matter.
I've got this trick that people fall for all the time. Right.
I'm going to reveal something now. Yeah. I'm going to reveal a big trick. Right. This is when we see on TV. I'm going to destroy some magic right now. When we're on TV and we see a chosen card signed appear somewhere, impossible. This is how it's done. I will walk up to a spectator and say, right, we're going to film in a minute. Right, what I want you to do is I want you to pick a card and I want you to sign your name. Right, let's just practice. Right, you pick a card now. Right, then they pick a card and then I'm going to put it on face at deck. Right, and then they're going to say, right, they're going to sign the card. I'm going to say, just sign it there. So I'm going to watch them sign their card. Right, now I've got their card signed. I'll say, oh, that's perfect, mate. I'll just rip that up because we're not going to need it. I'll switch the card without them knowing, and they look like I've just ripped their card up. I've now got their card signed. I'll then hand that off to an accomplice, one of my cameramen or one of my people who are there helping me. Right, I'm now set up. Right, it's time to roll. Action. I'll walk up to them and say, right, pick a card. Right, they will pick the same card that they've just signed, because I'm going to make sure they do. And then they're going to sign the card like they did. And then I'm going to do anything I want to reveal that card, and that my accomplice is going to walk off, and maybe he's going to put it somewhere behind a window or something like this. Hello, card behind a window. Yeah. Right, so now we've got a signed card behind a window. And I'll then...
Yeah, you could switch the deck so that every card they pick is a 3 of spades.
Yeah, I could do that, but a magician's got the ability to just give you any card he wants anyway.
The point is that they were thinking that the trick was being pulled elsewhere, not up front, not initially.
That's right.
And the trick that I want to use as an example really quick, right, is they're assuming something else. Like, I'll take a cigarette, and in front of people in a club, I'll take a cigarette out of a pack, and I'll pretend to be holding it in my hand, so up in front of them. And I'll move my other hand in front of the hand and go 1, 2, 3, and then open both of my hands, and the cigarette just disappeared. Now, people are like, how did you do that? And what they don't realize is if you're standing behind me, you'll see that I wet the back of my thumb. The cigarette is hidden behind my thumb. I didn't make the cigarette disappear.
There's various tricks in one, but the basic idea
logical.
is... Yeah, the basic idea is you get the audience to assume the wrong problem. So they're solving an assumed, an imaginary problem, not the real problem. And
right.
That's why you need to determine first what happened. What exactly is going on here before you jump to the answer.
What's the magic trick?
Yeah, see, because the quote magician is not lying to you. You're lying to yourself, but the situation is set up to lead you to make the wrong assumption about what the problem was.
Absolutely.
Now getting back to this, did you put that link in the chat room? Was there a link that
I put a video. I put a link in the chat room. The last picture I posted into the chat room was going back to 9/11.
This is a YouTube video.
I posted the
pasted in the chat window, Matthew. The shared chat window.
The video I just gave you the link to in the Okay.
Oh, in Skype.
Yep. In Skype, I gave you the link.
Okay, I've got it.
Okay, and that video is a slow motion video of building 1 coming apart. See, if we say collapse, we're assuming the problem. Now, it came apart. Or it went away, or use a different term. That's why I use Cheetos and fuzzballs and that type of thing. It is actually much more scientific because it blinds you from biases. Using a different language. So here, the building's coming apart, and we're looking at it. So if you look at the beginning of it, you'll see, in slow motion, you'll see the northwest corner of Tower 1. You see that white edge of the corner of the building. And pretty soon, you'll notice a long, straight piece emerge.
Central in it.
One of the steel
columns. Central of the film.
Yeah, and it starts appearing, and let's see, I'm at 25 seconds, and here it is, 27, 28, 29. At 30 seconds, you definitely see it clearly, this straight piece of material. We're not going to assume if it's aluminum cladding or if it's steel or whatever it is, but we see it trailing dust. That's a lot of dust it's trailing, and you keep watching it. Right now I'm at about 45 seconds, and you don't see it anymore. Are you telling me that dust caught up and passed that piece, the solid material? No, dust has much, much more surface area per mass, and it's going to be much slower to fall. What that shows is that piece completely turned to dust, and there wasn't anything left of the chunk.
Yeah, and you can focus on any piece of this building.
And then you start realizing that everything else is doing it too. That was just easy to direct people to, but you start looking at all the other stuff, and you realize everything's kind of turning to dust as it falls. And it doesn't really reach the base. Now back on that AHA page, and there's some not slow motion but fast versions of that. And you can see things turning dust as they come down. But if you look at Figure 3 or Figure 4, Figure 3 is a good one. I call that the twilight zone. And you might want to
Figure 3.
Yeah,
I'll do it now. I'll copy it in.
Okay, I'll there's that's linked just to make sure I look at the same one. I call this a twilight zone because these people, when the building was coming apart, ran for cover. Now they just come out of their hiding places and they look like their body language look like they think they just walked into the twilight zone. And actually they did. That's the intersection where that piece was falling towards. And they come out of their hiding places. Like, where's the building? You see, Holden clouds up there, and you see blue sky. It's, and there's a guy there with his arms folded, just kind of looking, and another guy closer up to that's building 6 in the foreground, with his hands on his hips. And I'll bet you their jaws hanging open. They're like, what the heck just happened? Where'd the building go? You see some aluminum cladding. The building was a steel structure with aluminum cladding covering the outer steel columns. And you see those, pieces of aluminum cladding around there on the ground, just a few. Now, there are some steel wheat checks further down, but not nearly enough, not 110 stories worth. So you look at the guy, close to us, not the Mr. Branford there, but the one with the backpack and the white shirt. He's got his hands at the side. It's like, huh? And then there's another one trying to make a cell phone call, but you don't see fire, but you see a lot of unburned paper. One of the things that we heard people repeat over and over again, the military has top grade thermite, special nanothermite. Well, you know what the military uses thermite for? One of the things they use it for, other than to melt gun barrels, they use it to burn paper. If they have top secret documents and here the enemy's coming to take over their camp, they don't want their enemy getting that top secret document, so they have a grenade of thermite that it just burns everything up because it burns so fast. this paper isn't burned.
Yep, and it's papers everywhere.
And
there isn't anything, any thermite or nukes that would leave paper alone.